Hey everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Take 2 Listings in a Week with MAPS coach, Jackie Kravitz. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and you'll automatically receive the webinar after it is completed. Additionally, you'll be receiving an email with how to sign up for Jackie's course, Dominate Your Market. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That is FASTTRACK@kw.com. That's all for me. Jackie, take it away.
Thanks, Corey. Hey, good afternoon, good morning if you're on the West Coast or Central Time or Mountain Time. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend 45 minutes with me this morning. I am very excited to share some really great ideas with you today on how to take 2 listings a week. I do coach. You might have seen the first slide on this PowerPoint. I do coach a group program for MAPS called Dominate Your Market. And Dominate Your Market is about being a listing master. And I want to start by having you write down these 2 statements here, and I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being, I am great at it. The first one is, how would you rate your skills in handling, hang on guys, because my little mouse on my, my computer is frozen and I want to open the questions box. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Paul. No audio. Heather, I trust your audio is okay now. So good. I want to keep this open. So watch, guys. How would you rate your skills in handling objections and closing on a scale of 1 to 10, and your skills on following up on the leads that you get and actually setting appointments on those lead follow-up calls? And I would like you to type in your rating in the questions box right now. First question, let's do the first one. Your skills on overcoming, I said handling objections at first. Overcoming objections, meaning being able to handle them and close for an appointment and get a yes. So I see Victoria Price, 8, Jernell, 9, yay, awesome. Amy, 6, Robert, 7, Regina, I see 4, 5s, I see quite a few of 8s, which is amazing. Candace, 2, 3. So clearly, the highest, I'm seeing a lot of middle of the road here, 5, 6, some under 5. Have not seen a 10 yet, which means I only saw 1 9. Wow, thank you guys. Everybody's participating and typing it in. I can't even scroll down fast enough to see all of it. Here's the deal. Clearly, all of us, every single one of us, I've been in real estate for 23 years. I listed over 150 Fsbos and Expireds, which are the people that give you the most objections. 150 Fsbos and Expireds a year for several years. And I don't even rate myself a 10, because the truth is we all can learn and improve and get better at what we do. And the better you get at overcoming objections and being able to turn those objections into qualified appointments, the more business you will do, the stronger you will be. And the reality is we face objections when we are lead generating, when we're following up on those leads to set qualified appointments, when we're asking for price reductions on listing presentations. We even get buyer objections, even though this webinar is not about buyers at all. This is about listings. So the truth is we can all improve, and some of us have a lot of room for improvement in overcoming objections and closing. And how about your skills in following up on your leads and actually setting appointments, because getting leads is one thing. Yeah. And we're gonna focus our everything that I'm gonna talk to you about today will be focused on Fsbos and Expireds only because it is my strength. And here's the deal. When you master Fsbos and Expireds, they're the toughest prospects to speak with because they have a lot of objections for several reasons. We don't need to go over the reasons. They give you a lot of objections. And when you master those two sources of business, everything else that you do will become easy because now you've mastered the toughest ones. Everything else is going to be a piece of cake. So we're going to focus on that. Dominate Your Market is focused on that. And quite honestly, even if you are not really prospecting Fsbos and Expireds right now, every single one of you should be doing it. And I'm going to talk about why you should be doing it. And I trust that I'm going to get you excited about the opportunities that are open and available to you with for sale by owners and expireds. Oh, they're hard to talk to. Oh, they're upset. They don't want to talk to agents. Those are just objections that they have. And a lot of it, believe me, I know from coaching for the past 11, 12 years, a lot of it is just a story that you may have in your head about the opportunities. You might have heard somebody say, oh, Fsbos are like this. I don't like him. They say this, they say that. Expireds are this or that. Or maybe you called a Fsbo expired once. You haven't really done it consistently enough to become great at it. You just dabbled on it. You didn't have a really positive experience, and now you think all of them are the same way. The truth is, I get it. I know because I've called tens of thousands of them in my real estate career. I know they're not easy to speak with, and they can be easy to speak with when you know exactly how to speak with them. It's just another avenue. Now, rate your skills on following up on your leads and converting those leads into appointments. Type it in for me right now. Okay? Type it in for me. Okay, so I see Candace is a 3, Gustavo a 2, Anika a 7. Great, good for you. Lori 3, Kat 3, Leslie 7. I see some really low numbers on here. Yeah, I'm seeing. Thank you, everyone. I'm not going to be reading all of your. I'm looking at every single one of your responses here. Thank you for that. Again, a lot of room for improvement in following up on your leads and converting them into appointments. By the way, I'm going to give you some material today that's going to help you overcome objections and close, and even following up on your leads, because the reason why you don't turn more of your leads into appointments is because they give you objections you're not able to overcome. And in Dominate Your Market, that's what we focus on. The group program that I teach, 8 weeks, powerful stuff. 8 weeks that can completely transform your business. I'll give you more details on that at the end of the webinar today. So let's go. Real briefly here, if you were a family reunion this year, one of the things Gary Keller said from stage is he said he said a lot of things, right? The two that I choose to remind you of today is the two that are on the screen. Gary said, you got to learn at least 3 lead generation sources. So you cannot have all of your eggs in one basket. And I'm sure you know all of this. And when you think about having 3 lead generation sources, your number one focus when it comes to lead generation has to be, write this down, number one for all of you, no questions asked, is your database. Gary says your business is your database. Millionaire real estate agents, let's say, close to 40%, in the high 30s% of their business, millionaire real estate agents, come from their database. And then what about the other 60%? You got to choose at least 3 lead sources. And I propose to you today that those additional lead sources will be Fsbos and Expired. So Gary says, focus on learning and mastering 3 lead generation sources and learn the rest as you go. Too many agents, whether you're brand new to real estate or you've been in real estate for many years, you spend too much time wanting to figure out what will you do, setting up systems and models and thinking about it. What will I do when I have this business? How do I handle listing agreements? How am I going to do this or that? Watch. Figure out the rest as you go. Your number one focus has to be generating leads, period. Because if you don't have leads, all the systems and models are irrelevant because you don't have listings. You don't have contracts to handle. You don't have any transactions to negotiate. Now, MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, very clearly, Gary states, there's a triangle in MREA, and there are 3 sides to a triangle. On one side, leads. On the next side of the triangle, listings, seller listings. And on the bottom of your triangle, leverage. This is the foundation of your business. Focusing on lead generation for seller listings. And when you have enough of those listings and transactions going on, you leverage yourself. This is the foundation of a millionaire real estate agent. So now, how does dominate your market? And how am I going to help you today in taking 2 listings a week? Watch. For sale by owners and expired listings can literally make you a fortune in your real estate business. And listing agents dominate their market. And Fsbos and Expires, this is actually on the next slide, so I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'll skip it when I get there. Fsbos and Expireds are the single best source of immediate business for every single one of you, no matter where you're located, no matter what your market conditions are, or even what your skill level is. If you're brand new to real estate, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Your number one lead source, your number one focus is your database. What else? What do I do after my database? The single best thing you can do to find immediate business. You want 2 listings this week and you don't have any leads? Massively start calling Fsbos and Expireds. Massively. Not 1 or 2 or 5. If this is not a source of business that you focused on in the past, you cannot just call, I'll call Fsbos and Expireds for 1 hour, 2 hours, and I'll talk to 10 or 20. And if I don't set any listing appointments, well, then I'm going to go do something else. Watch. To master something, you got to commit to it long term. If you talk to 300 Fsbos and Expireds this week, oh my gosh, Jackie, 300, are you crazy? That's a lot of people. Yeah, if you don't have the amount of business that you desire to have right now, what else are you doing? What else are you doing to find business? We know this is the best source of immediate business. And if you change your mindset and you focus on setting listing appointments, the only purpose of lead generation is setting appointments. And we know that what you focus on expands. So when you're lead generating Fsbos and Expireds, don't focus on making contact. Don't focus on the amount of time you're putting in. Don't focus on getting leads, meaning believe that they're long-term leads. You're going to have to follow up. No, Focus on setting appointments. And whatever you focus on, you're going to get more of. Watch. No better source of immediate business. Believe me, not only have I personally done it, I've been coaching Dominate Your Market for what, 7, 8 years now. I've coached mastery clients for many years. I'm a bold coach as well. And I know, again, not from just personal experience, from testimonials and from the experience of many coaching clients, that Fsbos and Expired, you can call them in the morning, that same afternoon you could be in their house getting a listing contract signed. It's possible. It's possible for you. Now, you got to believe it's possible. I know it's possible because I've seen it happen over and over and over again. You got to believe it's possible for you. Watch. High impact calls, because you are talking to people that want to sell their house. And someone typed a question here about, do you ever call canceled listings, or unconditionally withdrawn listings? Yes, absolutely. Same as expired. Use the same script. You just change up the very first line. They're awesome. Now watch. I already said this. Fsbos and Expireds are available in every single marketplace. I don't care what part of North America you're in. I don't care if you're in a buyer's market, seller's market. In a buyer's market, when you have a lot of inventory, you're going to have more expireds than Fsbos. You're going to have fewer. Oh, business is misspelled. Oh, I hate that. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm not going to fix it right now. I noticed it, so take care of it. So in a buyer's market, you're going to have fewer Fsbos than expires. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have any Fsbos. Oh, yeah, you're going to have Fsbos, just more expired. In a seller's market, the other way around. You're going to have fewer expires. There will still be some, and you're going to have more for sale by owners. I've sold real estate in both buyer's markets and seller's markets. I've coached clients in all kinds of different markets. So I know this, okay? There is no question about it. And some of you may say, oh, I don't have a lot of Fsbos and expireds. If you don't have a lot right now, expand the area you're calling in. You still have some. So start where you are right now. Watch. Let me go through this quickly because I want to make sure that I leave time for questions too for you. 50%, half of all the expired listings that come up in your marketplace every single day, within 48 hours, they are back in the MLS. Why aren't they back in the MLS with you? Do you have a story in your head about that? Well, a lot of them say they're going to relist with the same agent. That's an objection unless they've already signed a contract with the same agent. It's open game for everyone. Can you overcome that objection and close for an appointment? Absolutely. You have to learn exactly what to say and how to speak with these expireds in order to be the agent that's going to take these listings right away. So when you're talking to new expireds, you got to have urgency. If they expire today and you call them on Monday of next week, clearly half of them have already listed the property. For the expireds and for sale by owners that are on the do not call list, do not call means don't call them. Go to the door. Every single one of you are so much more powerful in person than you are over the phone. It's a lot harder for them to slam the door at you than it is for them to hang up on you. So call the ones that are not on the do not call. Oh, most of them are on the do not call. Great. Call the ones that are not, and the ones that are, create a route and go to the door. Now, for sale by owners, I said earlier, the only purpose, your mindset, the only purpose of your lead generation is to set listing appointments. Oh, I find buyers too. I get it. you're going to find buyers. And if they're ready, willing, and able, you're going to take those buyers out and you're going to sell them a property. No questions about that. And at the same time, you're not looking for buyers. You're looking for seller listings. Listings, leads, listings, leverage. That is the foundation of your business. So you may find buyers along the way. Your focus is to find people who want to sell their property. And guess what? Every FSBO wants to sell. There's no better person for you to call or door knock than a for sale by owner. Your whole lead generation efforts are focused on finding people who want to sell. Why wouldn't you be talking to the people that you know are already selling and don't have an agent yet? Single best source of immediate business. Even better than expired listings. Easier to talk to than a brand new expired. Brand new expireds, they're not happy people, okay? And yet, half of them are going to relist the property within 48 hours because they want to sell the house. They're looking for a great agent who can help them. Come from that place of contribution. Can you list an expired and get it sold? Yes, absolutely. And they're looking for that agent who can help them. So it's not just about you and your business. You're helping them accomplish their goals. And for sale by owners, guess what? Easier to talk to, and you got to learn how to bring value to for sale by owners. Again, it's coming from contribution. FSBOs are selling on their own to save the commission. That's the reason why they're doing it. And when you're able to show them how you can help them sell the property, and even after they pay your commission, they will end up with more money than if they find their own buyer. Watch, in Dominate Your Market, one of the 8 calls, 1 hour on how you net FSBOs more money. Every script, every dialogue, every tool, strategy, stats, everything you need to learn and master to show up to a FSBO listing appointment and be able to turn that thing around and show them the value and why you're worth 6% so you can get a contract signed on the spot. You're going to learn and dominate your market. What I'm going to teach you is what I use to list 100 FSBOs a year in the strong sellers market this country has ever experienced in the early 2000s. I was taking 100 FSBO listings a year and getting them sold. And you're going to learn exactly what I was sharing with them at the appointment to turn those FSBO appointments into signed listing agreements. No matter what they tell you, oh, I'm not in a hurry. I've sold FSBO before. I have a friend in real estate. Those are all objections that you'll be able to overcome and get in front of them so you can make your presentation. So no matter what the objections are they tell you, 80%, watch that, 80% of for sale by owners list their properties with an agent within 3 weeks. And if you've ever called for sale by owners, you'll know that sometimes they say, oh, I'm not listing with an agent. You know, if you want to call me in a couple of months or in a month or whatever, and then you believe them, you wait a month to call them, and when you call back, they tell you, oh, I already listed with an agent. And you're scratching your head wondering, what happened here? You told me you weren't listing the property. Guess what? One of two things. Either they met with an agent who was able to show them the value in paying their commission, or they just on their own figured out, this is not working, I don't know what I'm doing, and they hired someone. You want to be that first agent who can show them the value. So now let me go quickly through this. One of the number one skills for you to engage FSBOs and expireds in conversation and be able to, because you got to engage them, you got to keep them on the phone long enough, right? They don't hang up on you right away, so you can then set an appointment. Number one skill is mirroring and matching. We talk about that on the first step to bold. So if you have not taken bold, or even if you've taken bold, guess what? Bold 2.0, it's not the same bold you've experienced at all in any way. It's starting in 59 locations in August. Sign up for it. We go over this mirroring and matching and dominate your market. I expand on that more so you can learn and master this skill to be able to keep them on the phone and set appointments. You have to speak confidently. You have to speak with authority. You got to sound like someone who knows what they're talking about and have high energy. Guess what? Energy is critical. People make decisions when they're excited about the future. Fsbos and Expireds are going to decide to say yes to meeting with you when you get them excited about what you can do for them. And if you're not excited, how are you going to be able to get them excited about what you can do? Energy is everything, okay? Now, Fsbo Mindset. I already said this, so you can write it down, and I'm going to give you some scripts. I still want to give you the 4 steps to handling objections over the phone, and then I'm going to put some scripts on the screen for you to actually take a picture of it, and then you could use them later. Watch. Fsbos will list with the first agent who can show them the value in paying their commission. You got to beat that agent. You're not going to show the value over the phone. Over the phone, you're going to close for an appointment. Where you're going to show value is when you get to the appointment. You're going to learn the presentation, because physical presentations are different. How do you handle objections over the phone? Fsbos and Expireds, here's what you do. Notice that there are 4 steps here, and you don't actually, none of these steps, you actually handle the objections. Occasionally, you might have to handle an objection over the phone. Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, if you mirror and match, if you have confidence, authority, high energy, and you, number 1, listen intently. You cannot be in your head freaking out and wondering, what am I going to say? Oh my gosh, they're saying I don't want to pay a commission. How am I going to overcome this objection? Watch. Now is not the time for you to be thinking about how to respond. There's a bold law that says spontaneity is a conditioned reflex. Conditioned, meaning you've practiced ahead of time. You've mastered all of these skills leading up to this. When they're when you're talking to them over the phone, now it's not the time for you to be flipping through scripts. Listen intently. Be present to the conversation. Because the second step in handling their objections is you got to repeat and approve. And you're not going to be able to repeat and approve effectively if you're not listening intently. And repeat and approve goes beyond just saying, great, fantastic, excellent. That's not repeating and approving. That's just going through the motions. It's not making them feel like you heard them, you understand them. The single most important thing you can do is make people feel like, I hear you, I completely understand. You may not agree with what they're saying, and yet I understand your perspective. I understand where you're coming from. For me, my personal opinion, repeating and approving is the most important. This is where you break the walls and the barriers of all the objections they have. People are not used to being heard, okay? We all communicate, unfortunately. We communicate in a way that doesn't make the other person feel like we're even listening. They're talking and we're in our head. And by the way, this is how we communicate with everyone, yeah? And this is why there's so many problems in personal relationships, because nobody hears anybody. We hear, we don't listen, and we don't make the other person feel like we get what they're saying. You know, in step 6 of bold, we talk about understanding that everyone thinks differently and people have a different perception of things than we do. Everybody has their own world in their mind. And when someone feels heard and understood, that, watch, you want your lead generation, your appointments, your calls for price reductions, your personal relationships to have a major breakthrough. It's right there. It's really listening and making the other person feel like you actually get them. You may not agree. You understand where they're coming from. And after you've done that, you use the word and to link your approval to step 3, which is ask a question to get their attention. Never use the word but, because you put all this effort into repeating and approving, and then you say but, which negates everything you've just done. I completely understand, but I don't. So no buts ever. And let me ask you, and I'm going to give you on the next screen some questions to get the attention of Fsbos and Expireds. You'll be able to take a picture and you have those, okay? And so you ask the question to get their attention, and then you ask for the appointment, which is close for the appointment. When you ask for the appointment, one of two things will happen. Either they'll say, okay, come by at 4 o'clock, or they'll say, no, I want to wait. No, I have a friend in real estate. No, I've sold on my own before. No, I'm going to release with the same agent. No, I'm keeping it off the market. No is going to be followed by an objection. What do you do with that objection? You go back to step 1. You listen intently. I completely understand. Repeat and approve. Ask another question to get their attention. Ask for the appointment again. They will either give you a yes or a no with an objection. Objection, go back to step 1. You keep going through this process here at least 5 times before you give up. Watch. You want to set appointments, go out and take 2 listings this week, take on Fsbos and Expires and do what I'm telling you right here, right now. This is enough for you to watch. Massively, not, oh, you call 5 and they didn't give you an appointment, so this doesn't work. Do you know anyone who masters anything in life just by doing a little bit of it? It's not going to happen like that. If you have your mindset where I told you should be today, if you follow everything I've given you here today, I know you can make this happen. And this is just the beginning, okay? So here, take a picture of this. Some of the questions to get Fsbo their attention, and then you close. Okay, so this is the step 3 in handling objections. We got to go quickly, so I'm not even going to read them to you. Just take a picture, and you can transcribe them. You could rewrite them later. Okay, and here are 3 examples of questions to get expired's attention. And again, in Dominate Your Market, you're going to be able to download the most effective script for the calling script, okay, the initial lead generation script, objection handlers, closes, all of this stuff you're going to be able to download from the online portal we have. And I spend 20 minutes. These are 8 one-hour calls. 30 minutes of the call, I'm presenting material. The next 20 minutes, I'm role-playing live on the calls, Fsbos and Expireds, and I look for volunteers every single day. So somebody asked me to go back to the Fsbo. Here you go. So I spend 20 minutes role-playing, and then the last 10 minutes is Q&A. So, and these calls are recorded because when, in the middle of role plays, they move very quickly. So you're not able to write everything down. I don't even recommend you attempt to write things down during a role play. The calls are recorded so you can go back, listen to them again, and then write down word for word. You're going to have objection handlers. And again, when you're role playing, when you're on an actual call, Do sellers, do Fsbos and Expireds ever throw you off script? Yeah, this is where mastering the objections come in. So when you hear me role playing on these calls, it's not always going to be, let me go through the next screen here. So it's never going to be exactly how the script is written, because now it's a conversation and you'll have an opportunity to listen and transcribe every word of it. So here are the details on Dominate Your Market. Stay on the line because I'll answer questions. You can type in questions on the questions box and I'll be happy to answer them for you. The next one is starting in 2 weeks. So sign up now. 8 one-hour calls. The total cost of the program is $297. You will receive a link to sign up, or you can just go on mapscoaching.com. On the top of the website, there's a tab for coaching, and under the group section, you just click on Dominate Your Market. You sign up right there and then. I look forward to having every single one of you in the program. I know that's going to completely change what you're doing with Fsbos and Expireds. Will that schedule adjust for Mega Camp dates? There will not be a call the week of Mega Camp. When we have major events, we skip that week. So, and by the way, the schedule of the calls is already online. Regina said, "Thank you, my pleasure. Could we pay in 2 separate installments?" Michael, send an email to fasttrack@kw.com and ask that question. This is a program where it's supposed to be paid the whole thing in advance. Maybe there's some way to do it differently. Thank you, my pleasure. I can't see any of the content. Type, I don't understand your question, Teresa, so if you want to elaborate on that. Is there a different price if one has taken the class in the past, James? No, unfortunately, $297 is already a really low cost for the class. And yeah, that is the price right now. Paul said, "Thank you, you're awesome." Thank you, Paul, I appreciate it. Screen is not open. Which screen, Teresa? A lot of thank yous, my pleasure. Was that fasttrack@kw.com? Yes, fasttrack@kw.com. For expireds, do you also call canceled and withdrawals? Yes, unconditional withdrawals, not the conditional ones, because those are not, they're not able to relist with another agent. In my market, we have a lot of canceled, but not many expireds. Great, canceled are amazing. Just you gotta make sure they're unconditionally withdrawn. Okay. I've had 2 Fsbo appointments this week. Both tell me that they have to net a certain dollar amount. When I ask what's important about the dollar amount, it's just the number they decided. I get that. Almost every homeowner has a certain price in mind. The key with for sale by owners, and I'm gonna, again, in Dominate Your Market, we have obviously more time and I can elaborate on this. You do not want to discuss price with anyone over the phone. Every homeowner, not just Fsbos, in expired, every homeowner wants more money for the property than the property is worth. You don't want to engage in discussing price, especially with a for sale by owner, until you've gone through the how you net a more money presentation. I will elaborate on that in Dominate Your Market and explain to you why you don't want to discuss price or go through a CMA until they are really clear that on their own, they're not going to be able to net as much money as they would unless they hire you, period. Teresa, I can hear you, but I don't see the presentation. I'm not sure why, Teresa. I'm really sorry. You're going to get a recording of the call, and the PowerPoint may be a part of it. It might be something going on with your system, because I think everybody else is able to see it well. Do you do one-on-one coaching, Paul? I don't. I used to up until I started Bolt 5 years ago. So now Bolt takes a lot of my time. Are we going to get the recording? Yes, Carmen. Everyone is going to get a recording. So good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I think that's it, guys. Holly, what's the difference between dominate your market and bold? Wow. Holly, everything. What I cover in dominate your market is not covered in bold at all. Two completely different. There's just, I mean, there's not even. I don't even know what to say. Everything is different. They're completely. Bold is training and conditioning for the most part. It's live. It's 7 weeks. It covers a tremendous amount of powerful material. And dominate your market is about what we discussed today. Okay, so two completely different things. Guys, I think we're complete for today. Again, thank you so much for taking the time. Go to mapscoaching.com, sign up for Dominate Your Market. I look forward to talking to you on August 2nd. The calls will be at noon Central Time, 1 hour, 8 weeks. Thank you again. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye, everybody.